You ever notice your trading looks like a broken record? Few small wins that feel good, some more small wins that feel even better, and then boom, one red day that wipes out weeks or even months worth of progress. You dust yourself off and tell yourself that next time I'll be more disciplined. But somehow you find yourself repeating the same pattern again. It's not bad luck, you don't need better strategies, and it's certainly not the markets. What's really killing your trading is not what you see on the charts. It's what starts to happen once the chart starts to move against you. So in this video, we're going to go over the real reason why this happens. And until you fix this, you're likely to stay stuck repeating the same emotional cycle over and over again every single month with your trading. And once you start to see these patterns clearly, you really just can't unsee them. And that's where a deeper shift begins to take place. And that's what ends this cycle once and for all. If you're a returning viewer, good to have you back. And if you're somebody who's new to this channel, welcome. My name is Shaun. I'm an active US equities trader. I've been trading the market since 2017. And on this channel, we talk all about trading and investing the right way in the US stock market. So if you're interested in learning how to trade and becoming a profitable trader, consider subscribing. And while you're at it, might as well hit the like button. Right? So without further ado, let's get started and get going. Let's get started by being brutally honest that most traders do not blow up because of lack of knowledge or lack of strategies. They simply blow up because their wins are smaller and their losses are bigger. And then they keep repeating, keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And eventually, they either make a big blunder in their trading account, which cuts their account by 60 or even 80%, or maybe they just keep bleeding money, keep going through these small losses over and over again until they just can't take it anymore and they just call it a day, and then they stop trading either for good or maybe they just take a really long break from their trading. But this is what most traders do not understand, and it certainly took me a really long time to get my head around it, that this pattern, it's not random, it's very predictable. So here's what happens. Every time we take a trade and that trade wins, our brain releases dopamine. And for those of you who do not know what dopamine is simply a feel-good reward chemical that our brain releases. So every time we take a trade and it wins, our brain releases this reward chemical called dopamine in our system, and that feels good, and it feels encouraging for us to keep on going and keep trading more. So when that happens, our brain doesn't recognize that whatever we traded, I mean, it's a win equals win. And it doesn't really matter if we won that trade on a mediocre setup, or maybe we didn't follow our trades, or we didn't execute it properly. We just simply won, and our brain released dopamine, and it got that dopamine hit. And all it wants to do is it wants to keep feeling that way over and over again, right? So over time, our brain starts to link that trading and win equals pleasure or reward. So it doesn't really matter if the execution was not done so well. Because of that chemical, we end up getting addicted to that feeling, and our brain just constantly keeps seeking that hit over and over again. And because of this, our brain starts to link impulsive action equals pleasure, and we unknowingly start to link or reinforce bad or undisciplined trading behavior into ourselves. And when we make a big loss, or maybe even a small loss, that pain of that loss hits us even harder. And it's not because of the money, it's because our brain has built an identity around those small wins, and that identity starts to collapse. And that's where the pain starts to feel even worse. And after that hit, we're no longer a disciplined trader anymore, but we end up going back all the way down to feeling like an amateur trader. And that whole zigzag between pride and shame is exactly what keeps this whole cycle alive. And when we are in that state, we end up not trading the markets, but instead we end up trading our emotions about ourselves onto the market. And under some extreme conditions, people quite literally sometimes end up being an addict of the market. We hear this very often, in fact, that a lot of people are addicted to trading. But here's the crazy part. When traders first start to recognize and see these patterns, the very first instinct is not to assess the situation and find a solution, but the instinct is usually to learn more. They'll end up trying to learn better strategies or entry setups or risk management rules or any of that stuff. But that's like trying to fix your emotional overeating habits by trying to learn new recipes. And sure, it might sound good that trying to learn new recipes or maybe healthy recipes, it sounds good on paper, but under the hood, you're still thinking about food, you're still surrounded by food, and your mind is constantly wandering around those food thoughts. The problem for most traders is not knowledge, it's their identity. Most traders are addicted to feeling in control rather than being in control. Every small win starts to give you that illusion that I'm starting to get it and I'm improving. And what's really happening is if those underlying issues, under the hood issues, are not resolved fully, you're always going to chase that validation of winning trades. You're always going to feel the fear of missing trades, or you're always going to resent that boredom that comes from waiting for that absolute perfect setup. And here's also the thing about markets is if you have any unresolved issues, markets are always going to find it, because markets job is really to reflect you and then take your money on top of it, right? And by the way, guys, if you are somebody who's really been struggling with these challenges and you are simply not able to get over these challenges by yourself, sometimes you just need somebody who's gone through it all. And sometimes you just need somebody to take a look at your trading from the outside and really give you that deeper guidance. And if you are at that point, feel free to check out the mentorship program. It should be the very first link in the description below. Feel free to check it out. But moving on, market's job is to simply reflect our real selves back to us and also sometimes take our money. But if you just try to zoom in just to that moment before that big loss happened, if you just try to zoom into that point, what you'd notice is that you would have been having a few good winners. You feel confident, you feel sharp, you feel in tune with the market. And what ends up happening is next time when you come into the market, you see a setup. Maybe it's not the perfect setup, but it's fairly close, and you decide to take that trade. And you also decide to take that, let's just size up this trade, because maybe you've had like few good winners in the past, or maybe few green days consistently in the past, and you feel confident and you feel that I've earned this higher risk to myself. And that's what happens. You end up taking that trade and it doesn't go so well. And that single thought, which was essentially derived from our euphoric state of past wins, is what ends up taking the decision for us. And reality is, market really doesn't care about our recent wins or past winning streak. It simply looks at our most recent trading decision. And in that moment, we reach at a stage where we are no longer thinking objectively, but we end up thinking from our emotions. And even if we don't realize it in that moment, we end up trading from a place where we are not trading the markets, but we are trading just to protect our previous emotional high, or that emotional high that we received from all those previous few winners that we got in the markets. In that moment, traders end up not managing risk, but end up managing the ego and protecting the ego instead. And that's the reason a lot of times traders would find themselves taking really quick winners, or they would end up finding themselves that they let the losers run a lot longer, because they're constantly thinking that what if it comes back, and they want to end up in terms of a trade as a winner. Or they would give a trade a lot more breathing room, or a lot longer. They would just hold the trade a lot longer, even if the stock is just constantly going sideways and it has probably hit your time stop loss essentially. And in that moment, we're not trying to win money or make money anymore, but we're just trying to feel that, or trying to protect ourselves from feeling wrong. And when that happens, winning money doesn't even matter. We simply don't want to feel wrong, even if we don't realize it. But deep down, that is exactly what's going on. And when that happens, we as traders lose the only one advantage that we really have. And that is our ability to take small losses and move on. And when we as traders go through this cycle repeatedly, what tends to happen is over a period of time, we start to doubt our own ability. We start to lose faith in ourselves. We start to lose confidence. We start to lose confidence in ourselves and in our strategies and in our ability to trade. Over a period of time, we start doubting that, do we really have what it takes to be a trader? And do we really have the ability to follow our rules? We end up hesitating on all the good setups because we are remembering all the past times that we messed up. So we end up playing it too safe when we really need to be confident. And we end up being overconfident when we really need to be just very play it very safe because of the quality of the setup or any of that matter, maybe market environment or something. And the tough part is that as a trader, you really can't be rewarded in the markets if you're constantly just second guessing yourself, if you're not confident in your own self, in your own ability to trade, and if you're not confident in your own strategies. And when you're going through that stage, every single trading decision feels less like a decision, but a constant battle with yourself. Should I hold? Should I not hold? Should I exit now? Should I not exit now? Do I follow my rules? Or maybe the markets are throwing something at me that I need to just break my rules, and on and on and on. And these are the thoughts that are constantly going in ourselves. And every trading execution is less of a decision, but a constant fight with ourselves. And that's the reason why so many traders feel that achieving consistency is just so far off and feels close to impossible to so many traders, because you're trying to act consistent on the outside, but you're still so disconnected on the inside that consistency is just looks so difficult. And guys, like when I was going through this stage, it took me such a long time to achieve that detachment stage. In fact, a lot of traders do struggle with achieving that detachment, and probably the hardest thing to achieve that detachment in order to achieve consistency in their trading. And guys, if you are at this point where you're saying to yourself that, I kind of know these things, but I keep finding myself slipping back into the same old habits, same old patterns, and I just need somebody else to take a look at my trading, look at what I'm doing from the outside, somebody from outside your own head, and give you the guidance and structure specific to you and your trading, and show you the proper steps and proper path that are also specific to you and that can really help you move faster in the direction of achieving consistency. There's a link in the description below. Feel free to check out the mentorship program. But moving on to how to actually start breaking this cycle. The truth is, you don't stop losing big by trading differently. You stop this cycle by feeling differently about losing. And every trader who achieves consistency in their trading, they come to one realization that when trading, markets are not about having control, but it's about letting go. Every single trader who achieves consistency in their trading, they end up realizing that I cannot control the market, and they stop trying to make the market behave a certain way or maybe try to predict every single move of the market. They simply just let go. All they do is come into the market, look at the exact same things, try to find the exact same setups, execute them the exact same way every single day, and take whatever the market gives them. And to give you a clear picture of what that looks like, I start my day every single day, follow the exact same routine in order to get into that flow state for me. That helps me get into the flow state of trading. I do the exact same routine. I come into the market, look for the exact same things, look for the exact same strategies to execute, exact same setups to look. And when I see them, I execute them exactly the same way every single day. And that's it. I don't really look for what the market is. It a winner, is it a loser, or whatever it is. And like, we all are humans at the end of the day. It's never going to be a place where we execute every single one of our trades 10 out of 10. Like, if we had to score it, if you can score your own trades 7 or 8 out of 10 every single time or higher, the better, but minimum 7 or 8, you're going to be so much more profitable so quickly. And consistency is going to be like your natural state pretty much. But also, like, when now I'm trading, or any profitable trader that I've spoken to, they all, nobody likes to have losing trades for sure. And when you have losing trades or when you have winning trades, your constant response to yourself is like, and I'll tell you about what it looks like for me personally. I would say to myself that, oh, too bad that that trade ended up losing me money, or that's nice, that trade ended up making me money. And sure, I don't like to lose money, and I enjoy that making money or winning that trade, but it's such a surface level emotional response in myself that it doesn't really impact the way I behave in the market, and it doesn't really impact my own sense of self in the market. I just come into the market, do my thing every single day, execute it the exact same way, and whatever markets give me, that's what I accept and just move on, carry on with my day. If you want to start getting into this state for yourself, all you got to do is, first of all, stop measuring your progress in terms of dollars. You got to start measuring your progress in terms of discipline. You got to start rewarding yourself that doesn't matter, did I lose money or did I make money, doesn't really matter, but did I come into the market, I did not chase trades, or I did not hold losers a lot longer, I did not enter too early, I did not exit too early, or any of those things, but I came into the market, did my exact thing, and reward yourself on the progress it feels. And that is going to slowly but surely start to change your relationship with the market, start to change your relationship with trading itself as a profession. And that's where things start to begin really taking shape for yourself, and start consistency starts to sort of flourish inside yourself. Market is not the enemy, guys. Market is simply a mirror, and a brutally honest mirror at that. And if you can simply look back at that mirror and really not flinch, you're going to be miles ahead in your own trading journey. And for everything that I've spoken about so far, if it's starting to touch you on some level, then that's a really good sign, because then that's saying that you're starting to notice these patterns, because most traders completely avoid looking at these patterns, and slowly but surely they either stop trading altogether and give up, or they never see a real progress in their trading. And even a lot of traders, even when they see these patterns, they have such a surface level understanding of these patterns that they never really end up learning anything from it. But once you start to see these patterns clearly, you can start trading from a place of awareness rather than from a place of constantly being at the mercy of your own emotions. And once you reach that place, every single win or loss in the markets doesn't really affect you that much. It simply looks like a feedback of whatever the market is giving and market is doing, and it looks just like a small feedback in hopefully your long lasting careers to come in the markets in the future. These emotional patterns, this constant cycle of ups and downs in the markets, this is not something that you're stuck with, guys. All you have to do is start being more aware of what they are and start seeing them differently. And once you start doing that, your trading results will also start changing. But that's about it for this one. Hopefully, you found it insightful. If you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy. Cheers.